How many people have been to DCTech Meetup in the past? That's like most of you, that's awesome. How many people are new? How many people have not been here before? Probably about 100 people or so, that's awesome. Well, hopefully you're in for a treat. We're gonna do, I think what we typically do, which is show off some pretty awesome emerging technology by companies that are based here in the DC region. At the end of this, though, we're gonna do something that's a little bit different. We're gonna have a luxury panel, 5 people, that's the luxury edition, it's really big. It's a lot of people. There were some really smart people, so we wanted to make sure we had a little discussion around the quote-unquote state of DC tech. There's a tremendous amount of activity happening in this ecosystem. So we just want to have a discussion. We'll have some good Q&A around that too. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. If you don't know who I am, I'm Corbett 3000, Peter Corbett, founder of this meetup, founder of iStrategyLabs. You can love on me or hate on me on Twitter there. We have awesome sponsors sometimes, and this specific meetup is sponsored by GE. It's a small startup. They've been in business for 125 years. They're still trying to figure out, what they're going to do. But I think they might have found traction, things like turbines and appliances and things like that. What you probably don't know is that GE has opened up a pop-up GE Garages makerspace on Connecticut Avenue across from the Mayflower Hotel, and it opens tomorrow, which is pretty sweet. So if you go to gegarages.com, I'd encourage you actually probably to do that while you're here, because there are all sorts of classes, like maker classes, how to build things with Arduino, and they have like a live refrigerator hacking project, so you'll be able to work with the GE appliance engineering team to like re-envision a fridge, literally in that place in DC over the next few weeks. And then they're gonna 3D print and manufacture those parts, and they have a lightweight manufacturing facility in Louisville where they're gonna bring this into production, which is so weird as a thing to do. So go to ggarage.com, find the sessions that you want to be a part of. My team, specifically 3 of our creative technologists, are going to be teaching people how to build weather clocks. So we're going to tap into the Weather Underground API and build these little things that move and change depending on the weather. It'll be kind of interesting. Some of you are going to be going to the Founders Forum that I'm hosting. How many people are going to that? It's only 40 people. It's a small group, so I see a few of you in the room. There are other panels, etc. That's my spiel. Are any of our GE friends in the room? I know that maybe Jenna was coming. They're still building this thing out. They're literally going to be drinking Red Bull and coffee late into the night tonight to finish it, but it's going to be beautiful. So, that's an awesome pop-up makerspace, right? And we love making. We're physical hackers at iStrategyLabs, software developers, designers. So I wanted to steal the show in the beginning and show you an early prototype of something we've been working on. And for those of you who've been here before, you know I do this sometimes. So some of you have seen the social cooler, some of you have seen like the social fridge that we built, the paint pot, things like that. So this we built and finished yesterday, and I'll let the video explain it. All right, so we're looking at our first prototype for the Twitter selfie mirror. Awesome. Zach, why don't we close this thing? Actually, give me a sense of what's in there.
Sure. So we have a Mac Mini powering the facial recognition software, and then an Arduino Micro controlling the LEDs on the front, and then a webcam mounted behind a 2-way mirror.
Nice. Let's give it a shot. So you're going to have a seat. What are we doing here?
All right, so let's smile for 3 seconds to activate it.
Alright, looks like we're activating. Creeper smile. Twitter. Just got our dev Twitter account, so we've got our auto selfie. Alright, very good. So we clearly saved the world with that one. Twitter selfie mirrors in all bathrooms from now on. Not creepy at all. Anyway, so rapid prototyping is something we're fascinated by. We've got an awesome hardware startup in the lineup tonight, APX. Raise your hand, where are you at? Going to show something cool. So, some of you have seen the agenda, some of you just show up and you're like, alright, whatever, it's going to be cool. I love that. But if you didn't know, we're going to do what we typically do, batches of demos, right? And then we'll have Q&A with some of the people that demo. So you'll be able to have a chance to ask those founders and engineers what they've been working on. We'll then do another batch, another Q&A, then we'll do our panel. I think the next up is our friend, Mr. Skibas, who's going to do some community news.
Thank you, Peter. All right. Hey everybody, I'm Zvi Van, co-founder and CEO of Contactually, a local DC startup. Let's go ahead and jump into it. There's a whole lot going on. It took me like 20 minutes to put this together. First off, a lot of fundraising. I think when we started this tech meetup, we were like, oh, someone raised 100 grand, someone raised 50K, someone launched. Now, TrueSwap raised 10 million, TrackMaven raised 6.5 million, Data RPM raised 5.1, Speak raised 5.1 million, Encore, our first presenter here, they just announced their seed round the other day. Next Gen Angels, really great angel group, they announced their first director, so congrats to Brett Gibson. Anyone here of Startup Land? Raise your hand if you've heard of Startup Land. All right, so maybe a third of the audience. So Startup Land is a brand new documentary that was released, I think, last week, and now you can pre-order it online. It's a documentary all about the DC tech ecosystem, following startups very closely. Startup Weekend is coming back April 4th. So it's a great event where in one weekend people will go to, from building a startup from nothing to like actually launching it. So actually then, I think that's where like Peter and I first met like many years ago. Fosterly is also running another local study hall on March 27th. SecureForce, which is funded by Fortify.vc founder Jonathan Karell, that was acquired, so congrats to them. Mayor Gray announced Digital DC, which includes a $1 million grant program and designation of a tech sector, actually not too far from here. WeWork opened up not one but 2 co-working spaces in DC, one in Chinatown around the corner from here, and the old Wonder Bread factory. Local startup O-Power unveiled their initial plans for having an IPO later this year. Accelerprise welcomed their 5th class of startups. Former 500 startups Paul Singh, who we'll hear from later tonight, just announced his new local VC fund. Audax Health, another local DC startup, was acquired. In terms of other community news, so Pilot DC, it's an educational hackathon for high school students. If you really want to help out high school students, become better technologically, you can help develop ideas, debug code, implement new technologies. Reach out to them. That's at dc.gopilot.org. And finally, just there are a whole bunch of new events coming up there. I think there are 4 other events coming on tonight. Another one coming up is DC Ops Meetup. So if you run operations as a startup or are interested in running operations as a startup, that's just dcopsmeetup.eventbrite.com. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ben. Next up, we got our buddy Nicholas here from the DC Public Library, who's our host. He's going to give you a quick update on a few things. Good.
I'm Nick Karell. I'm the manager of public services here at DC Public Library. That's pretty much like the source for that you guys are on today. On behalf of Richard Brand-Scapron, who is our new executive director of the DC Public Library, it is my pleasure to welcome you back here. We're going to be hosting you guys pretty much every other month, and we're excited to have you guys here tonight. We're going to do some polling because we love doing polling. How many people have never been to this library before? How many people do not have a library card? Okay, I'm going to ask public safety to lock the doors now, or you will come out with your library card. We love hosting DCTech Meetup. It's one of our favorite things that we love to do, especially with our new digital commons in the back. Events like this are great examples of how the library is becoming a place of community, collaboration, creativity, and potentially groundbreaking ideas, like I'm sure we will hear here tonight. One of the things that we're going to be pitching tonight, and this is big, and this is where all of you can really get involved, in the back of the room, right over there towards Digital Commons, is we have our future of this library, a concept of this library. World-renowned architect firms Martinez & Johnson and McCann have been chosen as the team to usher this building into the future. In the upcoming months, you will have a unique opportunity to transform this building into a world-class library. Here are some important dates, because without you, your voices will not be heard. If you'd like to see what you'd like to see in this building, how you'd like it to feel, green space, all of those things are going to be inputted from the community. On Tuesday, March 25th, we'll be hosting the Meet the Architect event. The team selected to design the renovation of this historic building. The event will take place here in the Great Hall between 6 and 8 p.m. So it's a great opportunity to hear them and their ideas and then get feedback from you guys as well. And then on Thursday, April 24th, we're going to be hosting a library roundtable, which will provide another opportunity for residents to share their ideas of what kinds of library services, spaces, and technology you would like to see in this building. And that will begin around 5:30. We're also going to have an online component, possibly Google Hangouts, so you guys can also do it online. We really need you guys to participate, because without your voices will not be heard. And so we will choose the library for you. Thank you very much.
How many votes do we need to get a kegerator in here?
That's gonna, well, that's just
at least a Red Bull soda cup.
No, a couple hundred.
Here are my votes. And do you have a link so that I can share it through to everybody? So
We're going to be going to dclibrary.org/MLKfuture. So please check it out. We have tons of online components, so thank you guys.
Awesome.
See you in April.
Thank you, sir. Okay, first up, we're going to get a quick word here from Institute. Katie, please.
Hi, everyone. All right, so I'm here today to talk about an unsexy but very important topic, and that is the unemployment crisis. Do not tune out, this is very important. So, there's a lot of stats that represent this problem, but I'm going to focus on a couple. First, 50% of college grads are either unemployed or underemployed. What that means is that 50% of college grads are either not working at all, only part-time working, or working in jobs that don't require a degree. Even still, 60% of folks who enroll as a freshman in college never complete their degree. So that's 60% of people who go into school and never finish. So, given those stats and our place in the global economy, it's a very real problem. And we're not the only ones talking about that. In Obama's State of the Union, he addressed this issue directly when he said, we have one mission. We train Americans with the skills employers need. We match them with good jobs that need to be filled right now. That means more on-the-job training and more apprenticeships that set a young worker on an upward trajectory for life. We agree. So, as I'm sure you figured out by now, Institute addresses that problem. We are the first national apprenticeship program for 21st century careers. What that means is we place 18 to 24-year-olds in 1 to 2 year paid apprenticeships in a learn by doing model under founders and leaders of innovative companies. So many of you in this room fall into that category. We launched in 2012 in New York with 11 apprentices, and we found great success. One of our fellows, Kwame Henderson, he talks about his experience here. All of our fellows say that this experience changed their career trajectory completely, and they had access to opportunities that they never even knew existed. The companies we work with are also very happy with the experience. They are folks like Thrillist, Bitly, Huffington Post, WeWork Labs. The CEO of Thrillist, Ben Lehrer, said it was one of the best decisions he made last year, so we're very excited about that. So, if you're presenting tonight or you've ever given a presentation, you know how important it is to talk about results and impacts. So what kind of results are we seeing? 90% of our fellows are offered full-time positions, making on average $55K a year, or becoming entrepreneurs at the end of their first year of Institute. So we're very proud of that. We don't want that success and those kind of impacts to stay in New York alone. So we're very happy to announce that we're in the process right now of matching our first cohort of apprentices in the DC area with DC companies. And we will be doing several more this year. We're hoping to place up to 100 apprentices this year. We're also going to St. Louis and expanding to other cities in 2015. So if you want to be part of the solution, if you want to take an apprentice, please contact us. If you want to apply to be an apprentice, also contact us. If you want to meet the team and talk about how to collaborate and share community, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time.
She didn't mention she's being modest. These interns and apprentices are incredible human beings. So I hope that at iStrategyLabs we're going to go work with some of them very soon. Okay, next up, we got James Lee, Encore Alert.
Alert, DCTech. My name is, and I was just a workaholic. My name is James Lee. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Encore Alert. Basically, what we do is we give you the right social media opportunities at just the right time. And I know it's pretty hard to engage with 700 people at the same time, so I really encourage you to please tweet at us at Encore, feedback, ideas, introductions, anything that you have, and also visit our website at EncoreAlert.com. So this is Sunny Ganguly. He's the CMO of Wedding Wire, the largest wedding marketplace on the planet. Now, Sunny has a problem in that his marketing team gets to see this every morning. The full fire hose of every single conversation about Wedding Wire and every conversation about weddings, wedding photographers, and wedding dresses, all hitting them all at once, with no priority on who the most important people and conversations and trends are that are really going to move the needle for them. A lot of you will see that this is Hootsuite, and you probably use Hootsuite in your own businesses. Now, the problem with social listening tools like this is that smaller marketing teams simply just don't have the time, the resources, or the real data expertise or the patience to really dive into this and slice and dice the data. You kind of really want to know just what you need to know to really make an effective decision on social media. And that's where Encore Alert comes in. What we do is we take all the conversations happening about you on social media, in your social media universe, and we use algorithms that help determine what are the most important people, trends, and opportunities for you to respond to that day that are really going to be able to increase your brand equity, loyalty, and sales. So let's give you an example. This is what an Encore Alert looks like. Instead of hiding all the information inside of a dashboard, what we do is we have an alerts first focus. That means we send you to your inbox a clear and simple alert telling you exactly what is happening and what you can do about it. You can see we're not giving you any more charts or data for you to interpret. We're telling you that we've identified a certain opportunity and we're telling you exactly what that is, as well as giving you recommendations on what we think the most optimized marketing response is at that point. So for Wedding Wire, for example, we can help them sort 2.8 million tweets in that wedding universe per month and get it down to the 5 to 10 opportunities per day, such as the most important people, trends, and influencers that their team should be responding to. It helps them become more effective and more proactive and get into the conversation early. So since we're next to the Verizon Center, we decided to set up a demo for the Wizards so you can see what these alerts would be. As you can see, this first alert is a trending alert. So as you can see, we tell them this URL right now about the Wizards is trending. We give them some examples of how it's trending. And then the next is we have an influencer alert. So again, tons of people going to these games, everyone's tweeting about them, who should they respond to first? Well, we found that in most cases, a brand takes at least 7 hours to respond to people on Twitter. And that's just not acceptable if you want to engage with influencers. So we flag that person in real time, not only give you recommendations, but also some suggestions on what that person likes to talk about and what their background is so you can really effectively engage them. We also flag things like advocates, or evangelists for your brand, and even growth alerts for telling you that a tweet that you sent out recently is doing particularly well and something that you might want to build on. So as you can see, we're trying to bring you the right information at just the right time for you to make that decision and really capture those results. I'm going to just jump out here real quick. As you can see, we also do have an online feed. I think they're playing the Trailblazers tonight. And so this is the feed for the Wizards, and you can see what kind of things that we're surfacing up for them for what they're trying to do. Just to finish up our traction so far, as Zvi mentioned earlier, we're an accelerate company. We recently received a seed round led by Next Gen Angels, and we currently are working with brands in this area, including the Consumer Electronics Association, Georgetown University, and Wedding Wire. And we have 3 asks for you today. The first one is, if you are a marketer yourself, or you know you're close to the social marketing branch of your company, we'd love to give you a demo. If you can visit us at EncoreAlert.com, it's a short form for you to fill out, and we'll be right in contact with you. And also you can meet any of us that are wearing these shirts afterwards, and we'll be ready to hook you up with a special DCTech deal. The next one is that we are currently hiring for sales and marketing. We'd love to talk to anybody in this room because we'd love to hire local. And last but not least, if you aren't involved in marketing, but you still want to get some marketing tips on how to improve your business, please follow us at Encore, where we tweet insights and case studies. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you. So for those of you that want to know, how to do a great presentation at DCTech Meetup, that was one of them, right? So first time anyone's ever bullet pointed the asks, which is pretty awesome. So I'm sure you'll get a great response there. Next up, Jonathan, Betterific. Do you want web? Just web up. Yeah? You got a deck? Uh-oh. Is it open? Hold on. We're gonna go here. And Betterific. That one, and play that one. There you go.
So unfortunately, I did not bullet point my ask, so I apologize. Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Schilit. I'm a co-founder of Betterific. Today I want to introduce to you the suggestion box. This is what it first looked like when it was used in 1880, and this is what it looks like today. As you can see, not much has changed. Still, stick a piece of paper in a black box. And we thought this was terrible. These are people with ideas, and it just goes in the black box to die. So what we did is we built Betterific. We're crowdsourcing ideas and innovation. It's an exciting world where people have ideas to make products, brands, and experiences better. This is what the world looks like. People are coming up with product ideas for Starbucks, marketing ideas for Under Armour, ideas to make the DC Metro better, posting ideas, commenting, voting, sharing. It's a really robust community of ideas. Diverse people, diverse ideas. We're 15,000 strong and growing. We're heavy millennial. People love millennials. It's an influential group, and our members are really active. And more than that, they are passionate. They are passionate as hell about really coming up with awesome ideas to make products and brands better. Sorry, I can't get them out by all these slides. It's a real opportunity, right? They're really passionate. They love coming in here. They love being innovative about products and brands. And it's not just a cute engagement tool. It's a real opportunity for us. A few months ago, Gartner put out this report that talked about the importance of crowdsourcing, about crowdsourcing product ideas, crowdsourcing marketing ideas. And that, once again, not just an engagement tool, but by next year, consumer goods companies that employ crowdsourced solutions are going to see sales grow up. So it's an awesome opportunity for us to get brands to tap into our Betterific universe, and that's what we do. We run innovation challenges for brands to tap into our community. I'll walk you through a couple. We did something really great with Arby's. We're doing stuff with Major League Baseball and with Conagra Food and some of their brands. So with Arby's, there we go. Nice. So there's a pie chart in here that's really beautiful, and it breaks down the ideas that we saw from our campaigns. And I will tell you that up there, it says 26% of ideas, of all ideas that came in through Arby's, were new menu items. And Arby's was like, this is amazing. We want to know what these 26% new menu items are. It's going to get people into our restaurants. So more than just the ideas, it's us breaking down the data and seeing what do people want, what are they saying, delivering that to our clients. In addition to the data, we also can facilitate incentives to really galvanize our community. With Major League Baseball, we're piloting with the Nationals, and people with the best ideas, we're going to get to go to a game, talk to Nats marketing about their ideas. They get to go on the field, really cool. One guy, unbelievably passionate, super cool. He had an idea for an in-game promotion product, and he built a prototype and brought it in and said, like, here's my idea, let's talk about it. Really passionate, innovative people. And with Conagra Foods ReadyWhip, trust me, this photo session was awesome to do. You'll see the cam, the ReadyWhip cam. It's going to look different in 2015 based on ideas that have come from the Betterific community. Really awesome data that we can pull, incentives that we can dole out, and real important product innovations. This is the Betterific.com world. Super exciting. It's the first part of our business. The second part is taking the Betterific infrastructure and licensing it to Fortune 500 companies for them to deploy it from their existing communities, existing customers, existing employees, loyalty groups, you name it. So what we do, we reskin the platform. You can see it's quite broad right there, forgive the side thing. But we take the Betterific experience, we rebrand it, we repurpose it for brands to deploy to their existing communities 365 days a year, really getting to the people that know them best. We're an exciting team. I think so. A lot of you might recognize my co-founder, Miko Weinblatt, in the middle, who's been in the DC community for a long time. CTO Brad is an MIT alum. He's sort of a tech genius, and it's awesome to get to work with people. I'm really excited to be presenting today. Tonight, why is tonight different than all other nights? Behind us, Verizon Center. Today, I can't believe this all worked out, it's actually astonishing. Today, Betterific.com/widgets. We lost the campaign with the Washington Wizards. It went live like literally 5 hours ago. People's ideas to make the Washington Wizards fan experience better. We'd love to hear from you. Come join us. I'm John from Schilit. Here's some ideas to get you excited. We look forward to seeing you on Betterific.
Awesome. Thank you. We previewed that Wizards Betterific with me this weekend, and I said the top submission should be for them to score more points. You're allowed to boo, it's fine. All right, so next up, if I can get this right here, we've got FiscalNote with Arthur and Jenna. I can't tell which tabs are actually yours, so if you guys want to bring those out, that'd be great. Jenna, why don't you grab this mic too?
So, first of all, happy spring, everybody, finally. My name is Arthur Karell. I'm here with Jenna, Spinks. We're here to talk to you a little bit about FiscalNote. FiscalNote derives out of facts like, not a lot of you may know this even though we're in DC, but over 200,000 pieces of legislation are introduced and considered across the country each year. Now, regardless if you're a lobby shop or a consultancy or even a newspaper or even Bloomberg, you really only have the opportunity to substantially analyze a fraction of that. Our founders, three buddies who went to school up in Woodin in Montgomery County, saw that there was a better way to approach this. There was a data-driven approach to analyzing government policy. So Jenna's going to walk you through our platform. We're doing it live, so we'll look up some bills.
Great. So basically what we're trying to do at FiscalNote is take all of the government data that's out there, all of the 200,000 bills that are introduced, and make it actionable for companies, for government relations professionals, and also for finance professionals. So this is our platform. We think it's really easy to use. And what we do is we're a pioneer in that we are the first company that we're looking at Congress and all 50 states, and we are tracking all bills introduced throughout all of those states and in Congress, and we're predicting whether those bills will pass. And we're over 94% accurate in predicting whether a bill will pass as soon as it's introduced. So we'll show you a little bit about our platform. It's really easy to use. It allows companies that are operating in multiple states to easily find relevant bills. So we'll just take an example here to see how the platform works. And we'll just try searching for a bill. Now say I were a mobile technology company and I didn't really know what bills were relevant to me. I would just do a simple search on FiscalNote for mobile technology, and you can search in all 50 states, even if you don't know where bills will be. And you can easily find relevant bills to you. So let's take, for example, the first bill here that we got in our search results, which is from New York. Now easily on one page you can see everything that's relevant about that bill, from the bill sponsors to the bill text itself, to the entire timeline of all of the actions that have been taken on that bill, whether it's been introduced in committee or whether it's had a vote on the Senate floor or the Assembly floor. But what's really interesting is our bill analysis, and we provide 2 scores for every single bill. The first one that you see up there is 76%. That number is, if this bill had a vote today in the New York State Assembly, would this bill pass? And we're saying, yes, it probably would. There's a 76% chance that it would. But as many of you know, that's really only half the battle. Most bills that are introduced will never even come that far. They'll never get a vote on the House or the Senate floor. So that's why we provide this really interesting other number here, which we call the pre-floor score. That's the chance of the bills actually coming up on the floor for a vote. So taken together, this is really powerful information, and we break it down even further. That's a list of every single New York legislator and how likely they are to vote for that bill. So this is really powerful information. You can click on any of them to see more information about the legislator themselves, and you can see maybe why they're likely to vote for that bill, every bill they've introduced, how successful they are, and the industries that they're most likely to introduce bills around. So that can really help you if you're a government relations firm to find new allies. It can help you if you're a company operating in multiple states and you don't know what laws there are, for instance, on minimum wage. There are 50 different minimum wage laws in all 50 states. You can easily track that on our platform. You can get notified via email when there are new bills introduced that are relevant to you, and you can see the likelihood of all of those bills passing. So it's a really powerful tool for companies and government relations firms alike, and we're already working with several. So here's some further information about each legislator. And so we are currently working with several firms in the DC area, government relations professionals mostly, and other companies that are really using this data to inform their decisions. And so there's the map. We also include DC data. So if you are a company that could use FiscalNote, or if you know anyone who could, please contact us or tweet at us at FiscalNote. We're really interested to hear from everyone. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't seen our next presenter yet, MakeMe. There you are. Do you really need to swap that laptop in here? Yeah. Ugh. Alright. Here we go.
Hey guys, I'm Dumpeti. I'm from MakeMe. So at MakeMe we believe achievement is a multiplayer game, which basically means no one really achieves alone. So it really all starts with a simple question of, what do you really want to do? What have you been needing to do, right, in terms of personal achievement, personal goals. So be it learning to cook, picking up a new language, or just simply getting healthy and fit. And then all you really need is your close friends, family, your co-workers on MakeMe. And these folks can either join you with your own goal, with the same goal, or they can come in with their own goal. So what we did is we created a social motivation app that lets you easily set up these games where you begin with picking an action, and then you pick a consequence as to what you will do if you don't live up to your goal or your action. And at that point, you simply recruit your team. At that point, it's just a simple check-in app, right? So the players in the team make it and prove it. So let me give you an example. Does that work? All right, so here's a simulator. Here's a game I'm in. This happens to be all exercise, so about 5 or 6 different friends of mine. And here's the dashboard. So a lot of the apps out there show you your personal dashboard, but here we can enable you to have, the other folks, your close friends, dashboards. Again, they're all doing exercises in here, but notice it's all about so Felipe here, he made it and he proved his exercise for Ms. Jen. And the popular one is this one, what we call sweaty selfies. So it's all about proving it in a fun way with your close friends. And at that point, again, it's a fun experience. So for example, there's this notion of play cards, where I just played a force field card, which basically protects everyone in this team because it's the weekend and we kind of tend to be lazy or not, kind of keep up with the game. So that's pretty much the experience at that point. And to kind of summarize MakeMe, it's all about this small group play, which enables you to kind of really intimately share, what you're doing, your goals, how you're achieving them. And MakeMe just kind of helps it to be very asynchronous. It helps you kind of get your team together, be it a friend down in Australia, in a different time zone, different goal, it doesn't matter. It just creates a really fun and rich experience. So that's pretty much it. So hopefully I didn't bore you too much with the slides, but I do have a video. So we're actually launching a video today. It's really short, but I think you will like it.
Yeah, just pull out of mine.
I'll stop there. So that's MakeMe. Check us out at Make.me.
All right. Thank you. All right, so the first round of presenters, come on up. We're going to do some quick Q&A. And thank you. That was the most nudity we've had at DCTech Meetup. We always got to line things up. So we have everyone come on up and maybe safer this way. Who knows? So, what questions you guys have for Encore Alert, FiscalNote, MakeMe, or Betterific? Right here. FiscalNote, where does all that data come from?
All that data. So we've built proprietary scrapers that go straight to the state webs, all 50 states and Congress. So those are updating basically in real time every few minutes. So as soon as the legislator introduces the bill, we run the analytics on it, and our clients or the organizations we're working with can see that.
Terrific. I saw George right here.
FiscalNote.
Yes.
You're in the District of Columbia. When I looked at your state list, DC wasn't in your state list. When I looked at your map, you had a little thing for DC. What's the story?
The question is, why isn't DC a state yet?
It is a state.
I don't think I
It's in your
can.
mind.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, I can't make DC a state tonight, but I can put it on our platform, and it actually is on our platform. We're taking everything in the DC Council right now. They introduce bills, they introduce memorials, etc. That's all on our platform right now, and you can search it as you would any state.
Wonderful. What else we got over here in green?
Betterific. Is there an example you can give of a new Arby's menu item that came out of Betterific?
Frank, why don't you tell everyone your
Yeah, so the question is, Betterific, can you share Arby's new menu item that came out of your crowdsourcing effort?
I can't, but I can ask Frank to tell the idea that he shared, that he's hoping will get introduced in all the restaurants.
Apples.
My idea was a beef and cheddar sandwich, which is awesome, but what if it were vegan? That'd be better.
Yeah, so say the mics so we can hear.
So what Frank wanted, he wanted a beef and cheddar vegan. I believe using seitan he wanted.
Yeah.
From Arby's?
From Arby's.
That would be exciting. All right. What else do we have? Raise your hands high. I keep only looking in the front. Let's go back to the middle back. No, this is the good students up front? Okay. Right here.
What qualifies, Encore Alert, what qualifies you to be an influencer or all the other categories?
Yeah, so for Encore Alert, what qualifies someone to be an influencer in your platform?
Yeah, so I'll answer specifically for influencer. We take into account the number of followers, cloud score, and a number of other amplitude and reach measures. And so if somebody passes that certain threshold for each brand, which is different for each brand depending on the size of your brand, then we flag that person as an influencer.
All right. What else? Right here.
Also for Encore Alert, how can I tell you're doing a good job or a better job than your competitors?
Yeah, Encore Alert, how do we know you're doing a better job than your competitors, or aren't you just another social listing platform?
That's a good question. So we created this tool because most of our competitors, their users, don't actually use them every day. When we ask them how often do we actually look at these tools and make data-driven decisions based on that tool, they say, maybe once every week, whenever we pull the report, et cetera, et cetera. For us, we're sending them 5 to 10 emails a day, and we get between an 80 to 100% open rate and multiple actions a day.
Take a couple more questions. I want to make me question. I want to make me question. No? Yes? Yes? I'm killing hands. No, I'm kidding. You're right here.
What's the monetization scheme for MakeMe?
How will MakeMe make money?
Right, so the real goal of MakeMe is really to connect everyone to these program content, services, experts, for self-improvement, goals. So for example, Deepak Chopra's 21-day challenge. So we really believe in structured goals, so weekly increments. There's CrossFit, there's even apps like Fitocracy, Strava. There's challenges that we want to run, and just enable you, just connect you to better achieve your goals.
Awesome. Let's do one more question right in the back, right here.
More of a suggestion. For FiscalNote, have you ever considered writing that in a different language and also perhaps looking at other governments?
Do you mean another language other than English?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you considered translation for your application?
So yeah, phase 2, right? Internationalization is huge. And we have one of our data scientists is specifically natural language processing guru, so he will be in the process of building that out.
Awesome. Well, let's give a round of applause for all the presenters for this. So next up, we're going to have our friends at APX come on up. And I'm going to open this here. And hopefully, I need a projector. That's a big PowerPoint. Alright. This man wins. Okay. Looks like. Hoping. You have audio in there too? Yours.
Hello everyone, my name is Johny Johnson. I am from FiscalNote. I'm a software engineer, and we are looking to build out the future of smart glasses. So FiscalNote, we're about 4 years old. We've been developing software for smart glasses for the enterprise long before Google actually released their version of smart glasses. The initial prototypes and products that we've developed were focused around creating a Terminator vision-like experience for the US military. Now, if you think back to the movie, imagine the Terminator looking out into a crowd trying to identify John Connor. The vision that he has is of boxes around frames, or boxes around faces, with a baseball card showing data on the person that they're looking at. Since then, we have moved into larger, more enterprise scenarios where we are transforming the workforce. And in addition, using that same platform, we are looking to enhance the sports fan experience at live sporting events. And today I'm actually going to show you 2 videos because it's a little difficult to actually showcase augmented reality type software to a large crowd in such a small period of time. So without delay, let's see if this works. So this is what we envision the world with augmented reality and smart glasses. You are out in the field, you are actually calling out into reality, augmenting reality to supplement information that a wearer already sees and does. So this can be for the purposes of a machine operator following instructions. This can be logistics, scanning QR codes, identifying locations of packages wherever they may be in inventory, and also any sort of alerting messages that we want. To get to that point, we developed a product called Skylight, which is a product for any workforce that needs hands-free, real-time, contextual information when they do their job, while they're doing their job. Some notes about the video. So what you're looking at is the perspective of the person wearing the glass. And to clarify, this is not Google Glass, where we do partner with other vendors. This video is the perspective from a product that Epson has released recently called BT200. But we do support Google Glass, and you'll see that in the next video. One of the things that we're looking into is telepresence. This is actually calling out into the field and having a two-way conversation in real time for support and any sort of human interaction that you need. Changing the audience a little bit, we are going to take a look at an interview that Elliot from Elliot.
Fans, it's Elliot. Normally when you walk into a game.
Sorry, that we did a partnership with the Verizon Center to build something called Skybox. Now this basically is tailored around the fan experience and enhancing live sporting events.
Fans, it's Elliot. Normally when you walk into a game, you get your fan experience. Tonight we take that to a whole new level. It's Skybox for Google Glass. First team in any sport. Get ready to change the way you watch hockey games. Alright, so as we make our way to our seats, I want to use my Skybox Google Glass. I want tonight's roster. I want up to the second stats. I want Troy Brawler's second stats right now. I click that, there I go. Alright, so now we really have to get down to my seats. Gage getting ready to start. But again, not wasting time. While we're walking, I'm watching highlights from the last game when the Caps played the Maple Leafs. Right now, I am watching John Erskine fight Colton Ford while I'm walking to my seat.
Oh my goodness, Erskine! With a point and a point and a point again! But in a takedown, I'm on the other side. Oh, 30!
Right. Yeah! Oh, settle the ice down.
Oh, maybe take the face-off. Let's see how this face-off stats are for tonight. Here's game time stats.
And we wanted to create an app to really highlight new fan experiences that you can only do on something like Google Glass. As opposed to going to the game, looking at your phone and getting disconnected, we want you to be able to stay heads-up, hands-free, engaged, see replays, see stats, basically everything a fan wants and couldn't have before.
Now, I'm going to cut the video a little short. It goes on for a couple more minutes. So both of these kind of scenarios are built on the same platform, and because we keep the user in context of their environment, we're able to create a more immersive user interface than what you would typically expect from various mobile devices. I'll be available. I have a couple pairs of glass that if you guys want to try out afterwards, if you have any questions as well, feel free to reach out to me, and thank you very much.
My perfect use case for this. Did you guys see Cloak that launched yesterday, which is the anti-social network? Your phone vibrates when like your ex-girlfriend or boyfriend's nearby. Just be wearing the heads up. I'm gonna go this way. So hey, all right. So next up, I should have probably looked at who's up next first. UrbanStems, come on up. UrbanStems, and I know I've got a website for you. Okay, and full screen, you're good to go.
So we're just going to start with a simple question. Please raise your hand if you had a bad day. We have one person back there. I hope you feel a little better. We are UrbanStems. We are, curiously enough, 5 guys with a flower company. We're an on-demand flower delivery service that delivers gorgeous bouquets anywhere in DC within an hour or 2. And the important part is it's $35 free delivery all the time. So why does sending flowers suck so much right now? It's expensive. We all know that. Delivery takes days. If you don't plan ahead like me, you often pay another $20 or $30 for same-day delivery. And even when you do, you have absolutely no idea when that bouquet was actually delivered. And you actually have no idea what was delivered either. The websites are confusing, and often, unfortunately, the flowers are pretty subpar. So we decided that obviously that was a terrible experience. We did it one too many times and it just worked out horribly, so we wanted to fix it. And we decided the way to do that was through tech. We wanted to make the process as easy as possible. So Scott's going to talk about that in a minute, but let's start off by comparing the experiences. Right now, if you go to a website for a traditional flower company, you generally first are hit with a just overwhelming amount of options. You see hundreds of flowers, you have no idea, at least I know, which one might be the right fit. You can spend hours on it and still not know which one you want. So even once you do that, they have disappointing stock images are usually the photos. And the photos that you see on a lot of sites don't actually correlate to what you're going to end up getting, as I did mention with the subpar flowers. Delivery, you have very few options. You usually have to do it days in advance. If you do want it today or tomorrow, that's going to be an extra $20. And you usually don't have any choice at all over what the delivery time might be. If you're familiar with those Comcast cable windows, the same kind of thing, it could be hours and might not show up till the end of the day. So, like I said, we did that one too many times and decided there had to be a better way. So when we designed UrbanStems, we wanted to do it as easily as possible, make it just super simple to go through the process, only take a couple of minutes. So we always have 3 bouquets, we curate them ourselves, we pick 3 handcrafted bouquets. The checkout process takes minutes. It's actually a 1-page site, which Scott will show you in a minute. And delivery happens within an hour or 2. So if you decided to send flowers at 10 in the morning, they could be there by 11 and make somebody happy before lunch. And then the last thing is we email a photo to confirm delivery when it gets there. So you'll get a sneak preview of those flowers right as soon as your recipient gets it. And I'm going to hand it over to Scott now. Scott is our designer, and Chafin is our developer. Over there. So they're a tech team. They also do stuff with the name Traverse, and they built the Capital Hop app that was done a couple of weeks, or a couple of meetups ago.
All right, so this is the current experience. Incredibly cluttered, confusing. I could spend a half hour going through this site, looking at different flower options, and to be honest, I don't really know if I'm going to get the right flowers in the end. So, on our website, we've tried to make the process just incredibly simple. Our whole goal was to be able to choose your flowers, write a personalized note, and send the flowers on their way within 3 minutes. So, when we were designing the site, we were kind of thinking about a few different options that we could take. We thought about using pre-made options like Squarespace or Shopify, but at the end of the day, we only have 3 different flower selections, and that was just going to be too much of an overblown solution for us. So we decided to make this all custom, and yeah, I'm going to show you one more thing. So when we first launched, launched on Valentine's Day, which is kind of a crazy day to do a launch of a flower company. But we got some really good feedback from people, and so we're working on making the site better, making the checkout process easier, and we'll be rolling out some new updates in the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to hand it back over to Ajay.
So real quick, everyone in this room gets $7 off their first order using the code DCTech7. And we also, so it's $28 now, flowers delivered anywhere within an hour. And we'd also love to hear from you. If you tweet at us at UrbanStems and use the hashtag DCTech, you're going to be entered to win one of 3 free bouquets that we're going to give away. So thank you for having us.
And all the lawyers in the room were like, they're running the illegal sweepstakes. I hope they know that. Did they really write the contest rules? Thank you. No, seriously, every time I run a sweepstakes, someone says that. Okay, next up, let me get out of this full screen. Like multiple levels of full screen. Oh my god. Okay. GitBadger. Your slides. Okay. And that would be, there you go. Okay, I'll leave it to you to tug. That would be full and the escape is, okay.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Kevin Miyamoto. I'm one of the co-founders of GitBadger. Thanks for having me. And I guess I'll be the first one to announce this. I will be going to the bar after this. So any suggestions, good or bad, honestly, please come up and see me. I'm always trying to improve our pitch. I'm always trying to improve our product, so flag me down. So GitBadger, at its core, it is a Git-based project management tool, but really it's a lot more than that. And so I thought today I would just talk to you about why we created GitBadger and run through some of the features. So if we take a look at the market, we're seeing 2 big trends. One, companies are looking to outsource development work to third parties, specifically India and China. And 2, they're looking at people with a business background, so no technical experience, manage tech-related projects. And while both these scenarios have advantages, a number of challenges emerge, all dealing with a lack of understanding between project managers and developers. And I know this is a DC Tech event. I'm sure there's a crap ton of project managers out there. Can you guys raise your hands? Project managers? So whenever we talk to project managers, they don't really like working with developers because they feel like they can't commit to any timelines and they're hard to communicate with. Well, on the flip side, when we talk to developers, they don't like working with project managers because they feel like they always have to explain things twice and feel like they're always stuck in pointless meetings, always giving status updates. Sound familiar? So I think we all can recognize that there's a communication gap between the 2 groups. But rather than have their project managers badger their developers for more information, what some companies are doing now is actually hiring a full-time employee to pull data on their dev projects. So let's just say, conservatively, this role would cost $50,000 a year. That's $50,000 a year a company could spend on just pulling better data on their development projects. I mean, that's a lot of money. So we thought at GitBadger, why not create a platform where coders can code, managers can manage without micromanaging, and everyone can have access to all their information. And so that's GitBadger. That's what we're trying to be. So GitBadger, we seamlessly extract data from developers' workflow, visualize their productivity, and quantify their output so that project managers and stakeholders can make data-driven decisions. There we go. Okay, so let me go ahead and sign in. Now one of the cool things about GitBadger is we're building it on Go. We're actually building GitBadger and hosting GitBadger on GitBadger. So if I go here to the GitBadger project page, the first things that's going to pop up are these stats. And this is the project page. This is where you're going to get the high-level stats of your project. This is really bare bones right now. It has things like goals, commits, lines of code, which obviously are, I don't want to say they're worthless, but don't really add a lot of value. Everyone's project page is going to be looking a little bit differently. We're actually going to work with our clients to customize their metrics that they're going to be collecting. And it's not important to collect every metric under the sun, but what is important is trying to figure out what are those 5 to 7 key metrics that that team lead actually uses, and then getting really, really good at our side at collecting them. The rest of the tools, and I won't really feature dump you for the sake of time, we have a really lightweight task system that tracks commits, tasks, push access. We have something called a war room, which gives you up to the minute real-time notifications. People can comment, You can go ahead and you can click the summary of changes for each push, the insertions, deletions. We also, the main idea that we first started with was our heat map. So it actually visually identifies who and when. If I just click on a file, this is a small one, but who and when made the last edits to the line of code, and you can adjust it here. You can go ahead and you can command click here and see Josh, you'll push this at March 10th at 11:35 and give you the summary of changes. There's a lot here, but at the end of the day, individual coders, they're gonna go to use GitHub. They're pretty awesome, right? Atlassian, they're still gonna make some pretty kick-ass products still. But we think that if we could fit in the space where it's cheaper and easier to pull relevant data for your projects, that's our target audience, and that's what we're gonna really be trying to focus on. So again, I will be at the bar. Any suggestions, please feel free to stop by. We'd love for you guys to sign up and use it. Thanks a lot.
All right. So, next up, our presenter's running away. He's getting smaller. Be fine. Coming? All right. We're going to do the ever risky hot swap to mobile app connector demo. But you have slides first. Okay. That'll make it even easier. Let's see here. Okay. And you're just going to need to let us know when you want us back.
Hey everybody. Daniel Hanks, CEO and co-founder of SnapDash. Nice to be here. Appreciate DJ inviting me out to speak. I'm going to do some slides and I'm going to dive into a very brief demo. We're going to be under 5 minutes, we promise. So what is SnapDash? Okay, SnapDash is a photo entertainment app for iOS only that very lightly gamifies casual photos and selfies. We have 18 categories, 1,200 snaptions, and we released the ability for you to write your own recently. Intellectually, what does that mean? If I was a high-minded CEO, I'd say we're taking two very pervasive consumer behaviors. One is the do something funny group photo, which has been around since cameras were invented. Hey, Gary, go over there and do something stupid so I can take a picture, right? The other one is recent and is ubiquitous, and that's the selfie. We're actually featured right now on the App Store homepage under the selfie category. Extremely fortuitous timing on launch for us. To our users, teenage demographic, we say, hey, we're funny friend of the camera. What do our users say? Our users say all sorts of great things. It's resonated positively. I have some of them here, but say you think I didn't cherry pick. Our App Store rating is 4.8 stars. We have almost 1,400 reviews. And we've had 300,000 installs since launch in December. More importantly, these users are actually doing something. So at a DAU level, daily active users, per user, they're taking more photos per day than Snapchat or Instagram. We think this is really exciting because of the things we haven't even done yet. But first, let's look through some of these photos. Those numbers, you obviously have hundreds of thousands of photos a day, millions since we've launched. Let's go through some of them. It's hard to pick the best. There's a paragraph. These are all publicly shared. SnapDash hashtag. Check us out, SnapDash app on Instagram, which is 23,000 followers and growing. These girls are trying to look sexy despite wearing an eye patch. This is a group of our troops. Shout out to our troops. I don't know if this was off overseas or here. This is two people in Germany. A woman with her granddaughter or daughter. The kid's reaction just nailed it. This is a group of kids from Dubai. And then these are two photos that are actually juxtaposed in the reaction to the same content. These kids are in a schoolyard in Australia, and that girl's in the Philippines. Who's using it? Where are they right now? So we're 80% female. We're 75% under the age of 18. We're 70% in the States. We're English only right now, so if you think about it, the next countries are obviously Canada, Great Britain, and Australia, although we've had a huge pop in the Philippines with TV stars randomly enough, so we were the number 6 app there for a while. Had a recent burst in Syria. I don't know how to segue into the rest of the deck, but and 84% of our pictures are front-facing cameras, so that really speaks to the selfie revolution that we're in. As much as I hate it, it's keeping the business going, so that's really great. Upcoming, what's really interesting is right now, our MVP is an entirely local app. So there's no community, there's no messaging, there's no feed, there's no nothing. But still, these people are taking 11 photos every time they open the app. So when we launched, we gave people 4 options to share. This will really resonate with the iStrategyLabs, What Happened to Teenagers in Facebook report. But when we launched, 4 options to share from the app, easily Instagram. The next was email. If you're telling me that a 14-year-old girl is going to email the photo to somebody else, I would have said you're an idiot, but you're not an idiot. Facebook is 4%. A month later, we released the ability to message, because these people like to share one-to-one, one-to-many, Snapchat, everybody knows what's going on. And immediately, SMS and iMessage sharing, as we're building a back-end ephemeral sharing program in the app, or a platform in the app, vaulted to number 2. Again, Facebook is going away. Inherently, when you're giving a teenager an option to share to Facebook or Twitter, you're not giving them the option to share. So, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be expanding this from a local app to more of a platform, right? Instead of a single user utility, it's going to be more multi-user. But the good place where we're starting is everyone, if you're familiar with the 1:9:90 ratio of content curation, generation, and consumption, we're starting everybody in the creation category, which is going to get them familiar with the experience. And hopefully, we go from a high-friction experience to a more low-friction, viral, organic growth scenario, and we become more of a verb from the perspective of our users. So we're now going to quickly, Peter committed for DJ and me to compose with him with the photos. We're going to see if this works.
All right, and you have an iPhone 5 there? Okay. Let's see if we can connect this thing. And, do you ever know enough line to actually send it to the screen? There we go. All right, so be careful with this thing. You're managing it, right?
Right. So, this is the app. I don't have an iPhone 4. It looks like I have an iPhone 4. There are guys, right? So these are all these categories that you can choose from, and you press and it randomly generates a scenario. I have shaky hands, as you can tell. But I've written 5 of their own. So these guys are going to get one of these 5 to pose to. It's actually, you normally don't get this experience, but I'm going to shake it, and you're going to have to pose in a matter of 6 seconds, and I'm going to sell this to In the Capital for $11. Ready? Go. Pose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Got it. All right, I'm going to tweet that DCTech for sure. All right, so everyone go check that out. That's SnapDash.
That was an incredibly risky demo. Risked all of our dignity. I think we made it out alive. Who knows? Okay, so that was the last demo of the night. So that crew that just demoed, come on up. We're going to do some Q&A. So get ready with your awesome questions, or at least mediocre ones, and go from there. So who's got at least a mediocre question? I mean an awesome question. Who's got an awesome question? Nobody has one. Who has a mediocre question? Right here, mediocre question. What do you got? Yeah. So UrbanStem, how many delivery people do you employ? How do logistics work essentially for delivering flowers?
Sure. So we have a central distribution location in South DuPont, and we've actually partnered with another DC startup called Urban Delivery, and they're doing the bicycle deliveries from that location. It's as simple as that.
South DuPont's the dangerous part of DuPont. What else is right here?
UrbanStems, where are you getting your flowers from? Are you growing them here, or where are you getting them from?
UrbanStem, where do you get your flowers from? Are you growing them?
They are from sustainable farms in Colombia and Ecuador, and they're grown on mountains, and they are exposed to the most sun. I wish I didn't know this. They're exposed to so much sun that when they're cut and sent to us, they actually last for about 2 weeks once you put it in a vase.
Right. Yeah. Lovely. What else in the back? GitBadger, do you integrate with any other social coding platforms other than Git?
No, we don't right now. That's not to say we will in the future, but right now, this is still pretty bare bones. Like, I don't know if you can tell, we're still building out a lot of the different metrics in the chart, so that's a little bit
All right. What else? Right here.
Is there any blame when somebody screws up the code?
Yeah, GitBadger. How does branching, how does blame work in sort of committing through the GitBadger platform?
I think that might be I think it depends on your workflow. We would be able to give the option to view who's done what, the amount of changes per that code. I mean, I didn't really jump into it, but you could see the insertions, deletions for that specific commit. So if you wanted to run the report and then you blame the other person, you can, but we're not going to say, hey, you know, Josh totally screwed up here, like he's the fault to blame, so that's depends on you.
Gitblamer.com. Go ahead. Yeah. UrbanStems, when do you take the pictures of the products?
So we basically, there's the mic here. We basically have our couriers take the photo when they're right outside the recipient's building. So you see generally the number of the building and the flowers right in front of it. We've experimented with taking photos of your actual recipient holding the flowers, but some people think that's a little invasive, so.
Yeah. All right, well, we're doing great on time, so we'll take some more in the red right here.
SnapDash, what's your plan for Android and Windows stuff?
SnapDash, when are you going Android and or Windows?
Android probably in the next couple of months. Windows, admittedly, hadn't thought about it.
How many Windows phone users in the room? You guys may be waiting.
It's more fiscally prudent for me to buy you an iPhone.
Well, engineering. What else? Other hands in the loop.
DCTech Labs. That Sky video is kind of impressive. How much of that is current actual functionality and that's what it looks like, and how much is just kind of pre-rendered?
Yeah, so Apex Labs, so the video that you showed was really impressive. How much was that motion graphics versus actual UI for the device?
So the first part that you saw where the Humvee was out, so those are, that's augmented reality, which is not quite there yet in terms of technology. But the interface that you saw, that is actually what you would see if you're wearing the XM glasses with our platform right now. The second video with the Skybox, that's actually, we did that live. Every once in a while you'll probably see us out there. If you go to
That's the inventory one, the hands-free manufacturing management part?
No, the Skybox.
Oh, the sports. Sweet. I saw a purple shirt. Go ahead.
SnapDash, you already got my download, so I saw there's in-app purchases. This might answer my question, but can you speak to the revenue structure? How are you going to make the Snapchat money?
Yeah, the question for SnapDash is about how will you make money, in-app purchases, etc. What's the model?
Right, so we launched with 3 categories you got for free and then you could buy additional, but if we're building a big social play, you don't want to put an in-app gate between your users and their activities, so we dropped that. There's 2 remaining, bachelorette party and at the bar, which we at least need to make you pay or the kids hit their parents' credit card. Down the line, partnering with geolocation, doing geolocation for bars and restaurants, partnering with brands to generate their content, teams to do in-stadium experiences, etc.
Nice. What else? First, hand over the whitish, you got whitish sweater. SnapDash, would you sell for $3 billion?
Yes.
Who else? What else we got? Wade standing in the back. SnapDash, how do you protect privacy for your users?
So right now there's no accounts. So with our MVP, you can do one of 3 things. You can delete the photo, you can save it to your own camera roll, or share it publicly. So when you share it publicly, you're doing what you will. Obviously, when we build out the ephemeral messaging, we're gonna, I'd give you the road answer I would give anybody.
All right, we're gonna do one more question. We're not gonna do one more question. No, you already had a question. Is it really good?
That's funny.
Okay, it's funny. Go ahead.
We're all of the flower guys in the doghouse when they started the idea.
Yeah, we're all the flower guys in the doghouse with your significant others when you started this idea?
I hope not.
Maybe.
No comment.
Okay. Let's get a round of applause. Thank you, guys. This is our last segment of the experience. We are... Alright. So if my panel could assemble, come on up. We're not going to have this projector on the whole time because it'll probably blind us. Maybe we can. That's about it. So come on up, grab a seat. So I'll just do a quick intro. We've got Jennifer Boss in the Deputy Mayor's office. She's been over about 2.5 years now focused on innovation in the DCTech sector specifically. Shane Glenn's our VP of Social Marketing for Social Radar. Martin Ringland, who has many accolades here, Presidential Innovation Fellow, First Design Manager at Twitter, currently supporting Invite, Macau, Campus Co-work, founder of Include, Mike Meredith, co-founder of Spinnaker. He's also a co-organizer of DCTech Meetup. Hopefully you know that's this, right, right here. Proudly Made in DC, creator and curate Startup Digest. And Garrett is also a Presidential Innovation Fellow, still in the White House specifically. And I think I might need a chair, or I can stand, I don't care. And I, obviously, am going to be your moderator. So let me give you guys this mic. Okay, so this is going to be a little State of DC Tech panel. Maybe we'll do 3 or 4 questions just up on stage, and I want to start getting the crowd in the mix here. So I guess the first question I have for anybody on the panel, or the whole panel, is how long have you been here, and what changes have you seen for the better or for the worst in your tenure in the sort of DC Tech ecosystem? And Marty, you're probably a good person to start.
So I've been here since 2005. I think the biggest change I've seen is this. I remember when getting 30 people in the room was a huge challenge. It was quite a success to consistently get 30. The second that we broke 100, that was a huge achievement. And we knew when we started getting consistently 100 people to show up to things that something magical was happening. And this is overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, so I've been in the community since 2007, and as V and I started Proudly Made in DC a few years ago, when we first put it together, we asked all our friends, remember DJ was involved, a bunch of other people, like what are all the startups in DC Tech? And we came up with a list of 40 of them, and we thought, this is incredible. We had no idea there are 40 startups in the District of Columbia. And you know, within a year or two, that had grown to literally hundreds, and more popping up every day. So, you know, just reflecting on that moment when we felt like we had this moment of victory, 40 startups in DC, compared to what it looks like today, you know, that's been extraordinary to see.
And I've been working with DC Tech for about 3 years now, and I think there are 2 things that I noticed, especially from the mayor's office perspective. The first is the growth and explosion of co-working spaces, and the fact that there are places now for all of these growing companies to be. And then the second one is a shift in maturity in the startup community as well. We saw a lot of seed and angel rounds in the last couple of years, and in the last 6 months, we're starting to see that shift into Series A rounds, especially for those companies that are based in DC. So that's been a really exciting change.
I'm going to stick with what they said, because I don't think.
Darren Gibbons, Presidential Innovation Fellow, came here 3 years ago from New York City, came out of consumer internet, like many other folks, and the explosion in the community has been amazing, in no small part to several of the folks here. The one thing I'd like to add is it clearly hasn't gone unnoticed outside of our small startup tech community. The Presidential Innovation Fellows program is evidence of the fact that what we're doing is resonating, and the White House has even taken notice.
Can we get Obama on SnapDash? That would be amazing. All right. So there are literally hundreds of questions I could ask this panel. I think maybe the most important next one would be, what do we actually need now? Because there are so many things we could go after. So what does this ecosystem really need in order to grow incredible companies? Any thoughts from the panel?
I always come at it from a different perspective. I believe that we don't build great companies. What we do is we build great environments for great talent to do great work. And I believe that if great talent is allowed to do great work, what results is a great product, and what results is a great company. So I always look at it from the people perspective. And I think the emergence of co-working spaces, I think DC government getting more involved, I think there being more startups, I think there being larger communities is really starting to push that forward so that we all feel like we have these stronger communities that are allowing us to do better work. And not have to leave to do that work somewhere else.
Is anything holding back talent from doing great work here? Because that's the thing we should focus on, right? So like removing those barriers. So that's a good thing for us to ponder. If we have an answer on the panel, let's go through that. If not, that's fine, we'll work on it later. Any other answers to this question I asked?
Well, one thing that's great to see is the diversity here, but I think that we can still do a little bit better with inclusiveness. And if there's a way through either the mayor's office initiatives or things that are happening organically within the DC Tech ecosystem to make sure that we're being inclusive of the entire city, I think that that's something that would help grow it and make it stronger.
Thanks. I would say one of the reasons I'm excited to do the panel is because we were talking about the state of DC Tech, and like everyone else, my mind immediately went to sort of consumer technologies as well. But then I realized that with the federal government being DC's largest employer, it's incredibly important for our innovation community that the government itself provides opportunities that attract really innovative forward thinkers away from other hubs like Silicon Valley, New York City, Boston, and other places. And I think it's that sort of cycle and synergy where people like Marty can go do a 6-month tour of duty within the federal government, have the opportunity to do a lot of the things that folks are doing in the startups that we saw, whether it's working with open data, working with the Internet of Things or cyber physical systems, and grow those things at scale.
Are we seeing presidential innovation fellows stay in DC after coming into that tour?
Absolutely. So right now, so we're in our 3rd cycle, shameless plug, but we are recruiting, which is also a big part of a healthy ecosystem, is there are jobs. So go to Innovation Fellows right now, check out our application. But they are staying. So these are folks that came from the Valley, came from these other cities, and are now playing a meaningful role in defining what the future of technology and innovation looks like within the federal government. And I'm one of them. Folks like Marty did a 6-month tour, produced tremendous work at startup speed, and others of us feel as though there are other opportunities within to make a difference in these agencies.
Awesome. Any other answers to that one? Sure, go on. Okay.
I was just going to say, I think that something we could use to kind of take us to the next level are, these are great meetups, but I think a lot of really, honest conversations about, everyone's cheering each other on, which I love, but I don't feel like we're getting in like intimate, conversations anymore because we're in these big groups. So I've been trying to really just have more like meaningful conversations and relationships with folks in DC Tech to figure out what's going on. It's the personal thing I'm working on, but I think that also just focusing more on doing what you're passionate about and not talking about everybody else in ways that are not productive would be really helpful for DC Tech.
Yeah. What are you guys the most either excited about, that's the cheerleader question, or the most concerned about, which would be the critic question? So either side of the equation, what excited or concerned in terms of this DC Tech ecosystem?
Well, I'm happy to be a cheerleader, so I can start there. But I think from our perspective, we're really excited about this new Digital DC initiative that we're launching and hoping to be very inclusive of all of you and other people in the community, and not just looking at DC Tech proper, but also starting to draw in the creative economy and digital media and all of those other pieces of what we might not normally consider DC Tech. So we just launched a marketing campaign where we want to feature people like you on a website that iStrategyLabs help us put together. We have a corridor that we've defined where we're testing out a fund with non-dilutive capital, so we'd love for you to check that out and see if it's something that could apply to your company.
What else?
Well, one thing I'm really excited about is, from all the startup communities that I've seen, I think DC's sort of the best connected. We all share these giant meetups, these events, a giant Facebook group that everyone talks every day on. And I feel like what's being created is really strong community. And what we've been waiting for some time is like a number of companies to grow up in this community, build real companies, and be successful. And there are now a number of companies that are starting to look like they're doing really well, building really big businesses. Contactually, TrackMaven, iStrategyLabs, all sorts of companies growing and growing. And what I think is so incredible is those companies are going to go on and be successful, but starting from having roots in this shared community that we all have. And I think when that expertise, when that success gets reinvested back in the community, we're going to see some really extraordinary growth that can rival really anything.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that, I think there's amazing opportunities when we help grow smaller startups into large success stories, because early employees of those companies go on to start new companies, which again just kind of repeats the pattern. It's good job growth, it's good opportunity growth here, it's good skill growth for all the talent here. And then on the devil's advocate side, I sort of talk about the criticisms. You know, I have a unique skill set that I play in the data science, open data, big data world. I'm also a designer, so I can make the graph look like anything I want it to, and I can have it tell any story that I want it to. I think that's a dangerous thing that we do sometimes, where we try to inflate numbers, we try to say that we have X number of startups, or when those, we know that even just statistically speaking, most small businesses will fail. And while I think we need to cheerlead on, and we need to help support people to make sure that we can have as many successes as we can, I think we also need to be realistic so that we know where we are and where we're going. And we kind of treat the community sometimes like a business, where we have realistic goals and realistic expectations so that we all know what we're thriving for, and then we can see the successes. We don't all put sort of our backing behind a company that may or may not be successful, or an incubator or an accelerator that may or may not be here 2-3 years from now.
Any other comments on that, or I'm going to go to the audience? Anyone want to answer that? Yourselves? The things you're either excited or concerned about, and maybe we need to get a mic out in the audience. Why don't I give mine up? Sweetie, do you want to wrangle this? So if there's not an answer to it, you do? Yeah.
In another city like San Francisco or Boston, do they have access to the capital, or is it like here where how do you build the culture of easy access to capital here in DC, similar to what you have in San Francisco?
I guess it's a really good question. We're doing it now, and the best example would be Next Gen Angels. And so that's a group of 80 of us who are under 40 years old, who are angel investing. So many of the companies that are on stage tonight have received rounds of funding from Next Gen Angels, most recently being Encore Alert. I think Next Gen has done 15 deals in the past 16 months, 18 months or something like that. It usually puts in $250,000 to $500,000. So there's plenty of money in DC. The question is, how do you get people together to understand the process of investing so they actually invest? And then iStrategyLabs itself last year invested in 3 startups. So we're getting active because we've grown up in this ecosystem, and we have capital now to actually help people in a very real and visceral way, rather than just through advice, which is certainly useful, but not as maybe useful as cash. Good question though. So new questions. Josh.
Hey, so on the question of talent, I mean, talent is definitely a challenge for us here in DC. I'm trying to build out my tech team and trying to hire people. It's a big challenge. So a lot of the talent for DC happens to be in Northern Virginia, and the corridor between getting people from Northern Virginia into DC downtown and help them, make them want to commute in here is a real big challenge. So is there anything we can do to help DC get that talent where it is into the city more?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, I think we're in a unique position through the Innovation Fellowship because when you have a website, whitehouse.gov/innovation fellows, you have incredible reach. And so add to that the fact that you're solving challenges and problems of national significance, where the budget is already in place and you have the opportunity to solve those at scale. It means that we've been able to assemble a crack team of innovators, from technologists, designers, you name it. And so that's where I think the role that a program like this plays, and then I think the same applies to DC and the DC government, is in presenting the challenges and the opportunities using what DC does best, right, in the brand that we have that no other city has, to attract those innovators, and then doing a better job of connecting that brand to the DC tech community brand, so that folks are incentivized to stay beyond their tour of duty. That's how I would address it.
I would say, keep in mind that you have the opportunity to build an extraordinary work experience with an amazing set of people. And as a founder, you should embrace that. Make the pitch to these people, build an extraordinary company, build an extraordinary culture, and bring people in. At the end of the day, these people are just looking at trade-offs. Commute, some distance, being away from home. These are negatives, and it's your job as a founder to compel them with a positive vision that you have for your company. And I think most of the challenges in the startup space, the answer is always some version of that. Don't be afraid to sell, to pitch, to convince, and to compel people into your vision, whether it's fundraising, talent, recruiting. I think that's always what wins, and that's what sets apart, great startups, whether it's in this ecosystem or any other.
Yeah, just to, again, piggyback on that, I've had to hire for 3 different companies in DC, and I've never had the problem. If anything, I've always found it a benefit that we're in DC. But I think it's because my focus is, again, just from a different perspective, it's people first. I'll always put people over the product, and I'll always create an environment where people want to work. So at the end of the day, it's not about sort of what we're building or what the business model is or even who I am. It's what is this amazing environment that you're going to come into that you've never had access to before, where you're seeing things in a different light. And I think we're watching DC change, right? You go into a place like 1776, nothing ever looked like that 5 years ago, right? I think, when Peter designed his offices, that sort of pushed things forward. When we started designing our offices, that pushed things forward. And now there's a new status quo. We all get that cubicles suck. We all get that carpeting on the floor sucks, right? It's those are little tiny things, but they add up. It's a summation of the parts. And I feel like when you do them all, people they seek it out and they want it so bad that where you're cheaper, even if you're in Reston, Virginia, I still don't think you're going to have a problem if you do it right.
And then just one thing to add to that, you mentioned Northern Virginia, and there's absolutely a huge amount of talent there, but don't discount your ability as a company that's in DC to attract people from all over the country, or even in some cases all around the globe. This is a really attractive place to live right now. We've got 1,000 people moving to the district every month, and that's been happening for 2 years. And you can see it just by the crazy amounts of new people that want to be here, partly because we have a strong economy, also because it's a livable place. And at the risk of sounding like a shameless plug, the whole point of the digital DC marketing campaign is to get out the word about what you all are doing. We're government, we're not marketing ourselves, we have nothing to market, right? This is about getting out what you're doing. So to the extent that you can leverage a tool like that and help us to tell your story so that we can help attract that talent from all over the place, let's work together.
Just want to see a quick show of hands. How many people have been in the region for less than a year? About 50, 60 people. How many people live in DC itself? Okay, how many in Virginia? How many in Maryland? Okay, cool. How many people here who live in DC, who moved here in the past year or so, actually work in a technology company in some way, shape, or form? This is probably almost all of you. Okay, cool. Zvi, you're up. Go ahead.
Hi, I founded the Center for Copyright Integrity as a voice for the 2D arts content creator. And as I'm hearing all the wonderful innovations with technology startups, I'm not hearing the balance of protection for people that are infringing art, photography, and written content to make these awesome startups. So I want to know what programs the White House is doing in the Innovation Fund and what the DC government is doing to make sure people are aware of the copyright infringement laws and concerns that they're walking into.
It's a good thing we didn't have that music sharing startup up here today that we're planning to. No, I'm serious. Literally. Anyway, so any thoughts on that?
Sure, so that's a good question. So a couple things within the context of the Innovation Fellows program. We have two areas of the 3 projects that we're going to be tackling this summer that I think are applicable. The one that's not is a whole lot of work around modernizing the Veterans Affairs Administration, making digital the default. But we have a project around open data. And I saw a lot of companies today that are using open data through the use of APIs, machine-readable and human-readable content. All of the federal data sets are being made available through data.gov. So we're taking the information that the government and through the agencies has collected around various programs and are making it accessible to entrepreneurs, not just for transparency, but to fuel innovation. Right? When you see the companies that are presenting today, you immediately see the impact of the applications that can be built using open source maps that can be used, built around all sorts of data there. Another exciting area are crowdsourcing experimental projects. One of the projects one of the platforms that will be built is with the PTO, Patent and Trademark Office. We are crowdsourcing innovations to help the PTO better identify prior art, which is in short order figuring out what has been patented versus using the masses to help identify where things have been applicable before. So we're using people like you and putting the technologists in the middle that can figure out where copyrights and patents have been infringed upon to improve the quality of patents that are being issued.
So let's get some more DC Tech community stuff. What do you think? Jenna, right up front.
I have a question. This is my first time hearing, but I saw more demonstrations. I didn't like what I saw, but my question is that how often do y'all have tech meetings here, meetups?
In this library specifically?
Yeah.
So this happens every other month. We used to do it every month, but we can only do it every other month here. And then at any given day of the week, for those of you who are new to this sort of scene, there's got to be 4 or 5. I think Refresh DC is happening tonight. What else is you have the list?
Ember.js, which is a JavaScript library for developers, and what else is going on tonight? There was like 4 things.
Really, really easy. Entrepreneurship Week. Easy way to find out all this stuff. If you're on Twitter, the DC Tech hashtag is probably 100 or 150 comments every single day. People are sharing what's happening. And then on Facebook is the DC Tech Facebook group. There's about 4,000 people in there. What else we got out there? Any hands in the back? Way back. See Karell, can you yell?
Sure. So kind of going back to 2 questions ago, looking at what DC has to do. The premise, I guess, is just kind of looking at the sort of air of conservatism that, I think we're all in this room probably trying to combat a little bit, and I think we're doing something, but the question is, do you think we need to do more to kind of formally bridge that creative divide to kind of shatter that?
Yeah, so do we think we need to break either the perceived or real complacency in the region so people take more risks? Yeah? Do you guys think that's real or perceived? Is there anything that can be done? Is this an individual founder thing, co-founders together? Like, how does that work? Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Just in terms of this area in risk, I think there's a problem in that this area has always done really well, but the economy's done really poorly. So there's a lot of really good jobs here. There's a lot of really good opportunities to sort of put your feet up, get a really good 401k. Those amazing opportunities in this area make it very difficult for people to take the risk. And I love that whenever I talk about business, I talk about this Friends episode. We don't remember the TV show Friends, where Joey gives Rachel some really good advice because she wants to leave that coffee shop and she wants to work in the fashion industry. And she's just constantly putting on her resume, so it's never happening. She's never leaving the coffee shop. And Joey tells her, you don't have the fear. And she's like, what's the fear? It's like, well, you have this job, and you can pay, and you can feed yourself, and without the fear, like, you're just comfortable, so you're never really jumping into it full throttle, and you're never really taking the risk to be successful. And I felt like that was really interesting. And a funny side note is, she looked at Chandler and said, well, you hate your job. He's like, yeah, I'm too afraid. And I think some of us sometimes are too afraid, and it becomes a risk thing because the area is so ripe with other opportunities.
I mean, I would add though that I think I see more people taking the risk than I ever had before, especially with all the spaces that are opening up for people to go and be with other people that are like themselves, who have this idea that they are so deeply passionate about, whether it's 1776 or we work all these co-working spaces. Quite frankly, like Social Radar, we're housing a few people that just have ideas that are good friends of ours, and we trust them and we believe in them. And I think that if you surround yourself by those people, if you want to do it and you're around those people, they'll give you the, the ability to kind of take the jump if you need to. And there are people out there that are doing it a lot.
I might ask my panel to ask a question. You guys have any questions you think we really should cover? Anything that you're hoping that we talked about tonight? We're beginning to run down our time. If not, we'll go back out into the audience. Did you have a question before? Did you ask one before? No. You did? Let's get our friend up front, Svi. Someone who hasn't asked a question. Go ahead.
Thank you. Do you see a role for DCTech to play to follow the pitches, what happens formally, or to broker between investors and people who are in the developmental stage to sustain more?
Yeah. This event itself, DCTech Meetup, as a broker bridger?
Either in partnership or the role of DCTech Meetup.
I guess I'll answer that as the founder of this thing. No, I think we just see ourselves as a big stage to shine a light on people that are doing interesting things. Probably most of the most important venture capitalists in the region have been to DCTech Meetup. Some of them have been on stage. Many people in the audience are investors. How many people are angel investors in the audience? Ask Colin for a check. Everybody, the way out. He brought his checkbook. He's writing them as we speak. Another one over here. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's really our job just to like shine a light on people who are doing interesting things, and then like you all should hopefully share, tweet, email, connect these people to things you think are interesting for them. It would be inhuman for us to try to do the one-to-one thing. And there are events for doing that. And so we just said, let's stay very focused on being the big stage, because that didn't exist when we started it. So we have 2 questions over here. Let's go over there.
Hi, is there any directory, I'm kind of new to this scene, is there any directory where you can contact people with things, with interests in common for your pursuit?
It's a great question. There's a lot of them. So fosterly.com would be one. proudlymadeindc.com would be another. If you look at just the DCTech Meetup member list, there's 8,000 people now. So you can kind of poke around and see who's there and who came out.
Co-Founders Lab is also a really good one too.
Yeah. And if you go to AngelList also and look at Washington DC's edition of AngelList, that section, you'll see, whether we trust the numbers or not, 900 startups listed in DC itself, another 300 or 400 in Maryland and Virginia. So I'm hogging the answers. Let's get another question for the panel, and then we're probably going to wrap up. Right up front.
I know this administration has been very receptive. I mean, I think to say the least so far. Is there anything more that you feel like the mayor and his office and just the city government in general could do to really improve the startup community?
I can speak on behalf of the mayor's office, okay. Well, our goal up until now was to try to support the whole life cycle of companies. And so we got in and looked around and said, we have these really great tech incentives for mature companies, but it's not really helping the startup community. We tweaked them a little bit to make them more useful, but what we saw was that there was no major space to concentrate companies. And so we started to try to support those kinds of enterprises. We invested in Fortify, which was the first accelerator in DC, and now we've got Acceleprise. Hi Colin, still got your checkbook. And then we also invested in 1776, and we formed partnerships with Canvas and office hours there, and with some of the other incubators, and did our big launch last week at WeWork. So that was supporting the first end of that spectrum, and trying to create the environments that would support and nurture those companies. And now, I think what we're trying to do is serve those companies that are somewhere stuck in the middle. You have the resources that you need at the bottom end, you have the mentors. Government's not going to be able to support you when you're super early stage. You have to nurture the ideas, you have to figure out what your business plan is, have a place to work, be around the people who are like you, who are the risk takers. And it's when you get past that right now there's a gap. And that's what we're trying to address with this fund. After you get past that family and friends round, we want to make sure that as you're moving out of incubators and out of co-working spaces, that we can support you in that first venture into office space, which also comes with a mentorship component to keep you going and hopefully get you to that Series A. It's a pilot program, but I think that's where we're headed right now, trying to serve that middle tranche of companies.
So I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. We're going to give a round of applause for Karell. One of the news from DJ Saul that Jackpot, which is a new bar on 7th Street between G and H, is waiting for us. If you want to get a drink with people, go to Jackpot, 7 between G and H. I don't know, they got $4 beers or something crazy. I don't know, it's like half price time for us. So grab a beer, grab a friend, hang out. Thank you so much. Cheers. Oh, there's a recording of the video on youtube.com/Meetup channel.
Meetup Central.
Meetup Central. Right. YouTube.com/Meetup Central. If you want to rewatch this or share it.